Welcome back, everyone. Today I wanted to go ahead and take a look at reassembling our front suspension. If you've watched one of the other videos, prior to this we've gone ahead and done the Shelby drop, which drilled two new 1/2-inch holes about 1 1/8 back. That'll provide for better front suspension geometry, allow the car to just handle a little bit better as we're going around corners and going over bumps. But now we're going to go ahead and put together all of our new suspension components and get this ready to put the brakes and all the other components back on. Before we go ahead and do the work though, just a quick tour of the items I'm going to be putting in here. First, the upper control arm here, along with the spring perch. This is sent to me via Opentracker Racing.com. The two pieces we've got here, it's kind of their one item here that they're kind of known for, their roller spring perch. If you can see this from here, I've got it bolted in there set, but they've actually put roller bearings instead of what would normally just be rubber bushings in here. This allows this perch to roll easily back and forth, which will allow, as the spring goes up and down, that movement to happen a lot more easily. The other thing here with this upper control arm, the control arm itself is actually produced by Scott Drake, but what the folks over at Opentracker Racing actually do, this is actually called what they call a cheater upper control arm. So they actually go ahead and work these bushings here till this arm moves nice and smoothly in here. Again, just to reduce any friction. I'll show you here that I can go ahead and turn this by hand, where typically those would be a little bit firmer, a little bit harder to do on your own. So that's the upper control arm there. All new components there otherwise, new ball joint and everything else. So we'll go ahead and get that installed. On the bottom end here, they have their lower control arm. This again from Opentracker Racing. The part itself, again coming from Scott Drake, this is pretty standard. Other than what Opentracker Racing does here, they put a roller bearing in the back end here, the one binding point once again in suspension. So this makes it turn and move nice and easily, as opposed to having a rubber bushing in there once again. The new spring, this is a swap out of a GT Mustang, a little bit stiffer. Otherwise, generally about the same as the original. Insulator pad up top. And then the front strut arm. So this will actually bolt to that bottom control arm that we looked at and help keep it from moving back and forth. Most modern cars nowadays, for this lower control arm, you typically have two mounting points so that the control arm couldn't move front to back. In this setup, in this older setup here, they actually use this strut bar, the bolts here, and it'll go to the front frame, and it'll keep that control arm from moving back and forth. Now, the nice piece here, what I got from Opentracker Racing, they actually have these Delrin bushings, which are a little bit, they're firmer than the rubber bushings, but they're also got a nice self-lubricating feature to them that'll allow the strut arm to move up and down with the suspension again more easily, so just reducing friction all the way around. All right, so I think that should be everything we're going to be installing here. I'm going to go ahead and get this installed and point out anything interesting along the way. Come join me. All right, so we got that lower control arm in. Gone ahead and you watched me torque that down to 50 foot-pounds. So we're going to go ahead and get the spring compressed and up into the spring, into the tower here, and then we'll go ahead and get that, sneak that control arm in underneath. All right, now that we've gone ahead, we've got that upper control arm mounted and the spring set, we're going to go ahead and get the front spindle put in here by connecting both the upper control arm and the lower control arm here, making sure to get the steering element of this towards the back. All right, go ahead and torque these castle nuts down to 90 foot-pounds. All right, now we can go ahead and assemble our strut rod. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the nuts, get those tightened on there and torqued down, but that should take care of it. That gets our spindle ready to go here for our brake setup and that much closer to getting this car done. All right, join me next time when we go ahead and start working on the steering system and getting that rack and pinion ready to go and installed in here. All right, thanks.